Kia ora, everyone. Oh my goodness, I still have this amazing 5,000 piece jigsaw puzzle on my table. So I'm trying to film and record without messing any of the pieces up. So bear with me as I need to be very gentle with these jigsaw puzzle boxes. If you haven't heard, I'll be going to the Canadian National Jigsaw Puzzle Competition. It's the first weekend in May in Toronto. If you haven't signed up, I think there might still be tickets available for teams, but I do think that the individual and pairs may have sold out. I'll leave a link to their website in the description below, and one of the people that runs that is Russ, and you might remember him from the Flora Heart Battle of the YouTube Puzzlers. Amazing gentleman. I can't wait to finally meet him in person. I'll be pairing up with Ula, and then together we're going to team up with Sarah and Reese. Ula lives locally to Toronto, and Sarah and Reese are from Australia. So let me know if you'll be there. Leave your comments below and definitely come up and say hi or ciao. And yes, I will have my Whittaker's dark almond chocolate on me, so if you want a piece, just ask. In today's video, I have a speed puzzling compilation for you. These are 4 jigsaw puzzles, Ravensburger 500 pieces, because Canada, Ravensburger is sponsoring it, and therefore I know they're all Ravensburger jigsaw puzzles. And this is also in preparation for Worlds. This Spain in September is going to be amazing. Again, pairing up with Jeanette from Jeanette and Her Puzzles and teaming up with Siobhan from Ireland and Stein from Belgium. We're going to have just so much fun. And they're all practicing and they're all getting so fast. Like, I don't have enough time to speed run practice. So I decided to sit down with these 4 jigsaw puzzles that I borrowed from Allison. And I'm like, you know what? I need to work on technique. I need to work on the full flip technique. Yes, you heard me. That's exactly what you're going to see in these videos. I've come to realize when it's a super busy puzzle, I think my build as I sort, my pick and place works quite well. But maybe in general, I should try to do better at a full flip technique. So I have 4 jigsaw puzzles here. I'll show them to you, and I put them in order how I thought I would do, the fastest to the slowest. So let's just have a look at all the puzzles. The first puzzle that we have here is called I Like Birds, and it was developed and designed in the UK for the I Like Birds 2020, maybe a campaign for their Waterlands. This is my style of jigsaw puzzle, an illustration, not too super busy, but has some colorful areas. And I thought this would end up being my fastest time overall. So there you go, the first one. And I want to thank Allison for lending all these to me. The next one I thought would be my second fastest time. This one here is called Manatee Moments. It's by Robert Johnson. I thought, yeah, there's quite a bit of blue, but there's some pink. And I figured, okay, I think this would be my second fastest time overall. So I placed the I Like Birds first, and then I placed the Manatee Moments second. Next, oh goodness, this one, Koalas in the Tree. Koalas in a Tree by Steve Reed. I looked at this and I thought, there's no way I'm gonna finish this in under 90 minutes. I think this will be tough for me. We'll see, especially with a full flip. We got greenery, we got fur, although there's some colors, some reds. So I thought this would be the third fastest jigsaw puzzle of the 4. And then finally, this one right here, Lions in the Savannah? Yeah, Lions in the Savannah. It's just copyright of MGL. I was like, okay, I don't think I'm finishing this under 90 minutes either. Look at all this animal fur, the greenery, the similar colors. So this is how I ranked them. I thought that I Like Birds would be my fastest, then Manatee Moments, then Koalas in a Tree, and then finally Lions in the Savannah. Let's just go through the time lapses in order. Leave your comments below before you watch them. What do you think? Was I correct in judging the difficulty of these puzzles and the order in which I'd be able to do them? Well, I did learn a lot. I did the full flip method on all of these, and I think as I went along, I perfected, well, I don't want to say perfected, I improved upon my method. So during the time lapse, I'll explain to you what I did for each, and you'll eventually see, you know, where I started out and where I finished. Enjoy. So I got to puzzle next to Allison. She's doing Minu's Pond Daydream and I am doing I Like Birds. Now I decided to do the full flip, but I also sorted out quite a few things, and it took me 8 minutes and 49 seconds nearly to do the full flip and sort, what was it? The border, the sky pieces, the grass pieces, and then like the pieces of the birds with colors, as well as pieces of birds with just white on them. And looking at this back, I see, look, I am reaching. The area where I'm puzzling is away from me, so I'm leaning far over the table. I do think it was good to start the sky, and when I moved on to those grass pieces, I am better at recognizing when it's too difficult and I have to move on to something else. But then I had to move them out of my puzzling area, and I moved on to all the colorful bird pieces. Then I went on to the water and the reflection. It's actually quite tricky because you have like 2 heads for every bird, for example, but one is lighter in color and one is brighter. And I finished off in the end with those grass pieces. So I'm hoping to improve upon this setup of this full flip, and maybe I sorted too much so that I could have just picked those pieces out. Now Allison was amazing. Look how beautiful this jigsaw puzzle is and colorful. I love it. And she managed to finish it in under an hour at 59 minutes and 20, like nearly 22 seconds. I had no idea what time it was, but I knew it took me a bit longer to finish I Like Birds, and it's a very lovely illustration as well, very nice. And I'm getting better at recognizing things like focusing on small details that stand out in the jigsaw puzzle. And it took me an hour, nearly 7 minutes, and I'm pleased with that. I just wonder if I could full flip faster and maybe I shouldn't have sorted as much. So then I moved on to the manatee moments. And here again, I'm doing a full flip, grabbing out the border pieces, putting up those lighter sky pieces and the flamingo pink pieces up there. And then I realized I had stuff in my way. You can't see that little kaname, so I moved that off to the side. And that is a Slovenian coin that Jeanette gave me. I felt, well, I had Allison's puzzle, Jeanette's coin, maybe I'll have their strength to speed puzzle. Once again, started with the border. And then I realized a bit of the border was too difficult, so I finished the sky and those pink pieces. Those were all the pieces I kind of had sorted at the top there. And there were some nice transition lines here between like water and rock and like the surface of the water and the underneath of the water. Eventually now I'm back working on the border. Now, if you look at all those pieces, they're all like jumbled together, and I try not to have them sitting on top of one another. So, and the box isn't working for me. It's not in the right position. It's not at the right angle. The only thing I really liked about this particular speed run was where I was actually puzzling. The puzzle was closer to me. I liked that I had it down in that corner. And also, when I'm doing these runs, I am trying to limit myself in space to the actual space that I have at a standard competition. So I'm not using the whole table. I'm not overextending myself. But this was pretty tricky. I was like, oh goodness, am I gonna make this in under 90 minutes? At the end there, I just have some greenery. And why is my left hand just supporting myself? But it's such a fun puzzle, but it was much more difficult than I thought it would be. And I did manage to finish it in under 90 minutes at an hour 26, nearly an hour 27. I had very little time left to spare. So from this speed run, I realized, okay, let's puzzle down in that corner. Let's keep the box above the area. Here, I'm doing a full flip. I pulled out just the border pieces. I spread out the rest of the pieces, and you're gonna see me grabbing that box and tipping it quite a bit because of the angle of the light. I do as much of the border as I can, but once I get stuck on it, I stop and I move on. And then a genius moment just happened right there. I thought, why not use my tablet holder to put the box on it? And I can angle it as I need, so whatever lighting condition I have works best for the box. Well, this was a genius move. So I really, really like this setup. I like where I have the box. I like where I have my puzzling area. I like where I've spread out all the pieces, and I've tried to spread them out as best as possible. But do you know how many times I flung pieces off the table? Just flipping the pieces, I'm trying to get faster. And I started with all the red colorful bird pieces and the transition pieces between like the koala fur and the background. So like the koala fur and greenery, the koala fur and branches. The branches actually weren't too bad. And I was plugging along with this and I thought, I still don't think I'm gonna get it under 90 minutes, but I think I'm doing okay. Like I was worried it was gonna take me around 2 hours. And to tell you the truth, I felt pretty good about this jigsaw puzzle. I was pleased with how I was progressing with it. And if I picked a piece and wasn't sure where it went right away, you'll see there's pieces at the bottom edge there. Those are pieces I tried to place once, couldn't figure out where they go, but I didn't want to put them back into the massive pile of pieces, so I put them down there so I could quickly grab them. And I must say, I'm pleased with how I did with the koala fur. And I managed to just leave some of that greenery to the end. I really like my tablet stand. I think I'm going to bring that to Worlds. The puzzle wasn't as bad as I thought it was. I was actually very pleased and I felt I learned a lot from this jigsaw puzzle. It did take me longer than 90 minutes, just an extra like 10 minutes. I was close, but I was really actually proud of that because this is a difficult puzzle for me. So knowing how long it took me, I'm like, this is it. We are doing these lions. I had the box in the position, full flip, make sure I have a good spread of the pieces, only pulled out the border pieces. And look, this was my setup after I finished the full flip and pulling out the border pieces. And I have my puzzling area denoted, and it took me just over 5 minutes. So I went from that nearly 9 minute of full flip and sorting down to 5 minutes. I was really pleased with that. That's an improvement. Of course, I hadn't sorted anything though, but I thought, well, you know, maybe I don't need to. I actually thought this border wasn't too bad. I was like, oh, look at that. I have to tell myself, if I get stuck on the border, just stop, move on to something else. I did kick the camera there and I took the time to go and fix it for you all. Now, I grabbed out the flamingos first, and that water area at the top. There's water at the bottom. The most difficult part for me, believe it or not, was that rock that the lions are sitting on. I don't know why. Maybe because there were so many shades and colors and lines, I just couldn't do it. But once again, I focused on the transition lines between like the lion fur and whatever was in the background. So you'll see that like with the koalas, I often do the outline of the animal and then fill in the animal at the end. So I was plugging along with this and I thought it's going to take some time. I was definitely convinced I'd be over the 90-minute mark. And I felt in a way that this was almost a bit more difficult than the koalas. I did sort by piece shape, those rock pieces, but then I thought, you know what? Move on. Okay, you've sorted them. Let's try to do some animal fur first, you know. And believe it or not, this was probably some of the best puzzling I've done with animal fur in a long time. I was so pleased because there was a lot of detail in the lions, their nose, their mouth, their paws, and I left that rock to the end. And guess what? I managed to finish it within the 90 minutes. In fact, an hour and 22. This was the second fastest puzzle. This was even faster than the manatees. I cannot believe that. I was absolutely surprised. I did not expect this. Are you as surprised as I am? The lions in the savannah? I mean, come on, an hour 22? I called it correctly that I did not get the koalas in a tree under 90 minutes. I did not expect the manatee moment to be as difficult as it was, all the blues. I do think that I did really well with the full flip method as I progressed. And by the end, with the lions in the savannah, I liked how I had the box position. I liked how I had my puzzling area outlined. I liked how well I spread out the pieces and that I did not worry to grab or sort anything, just focused on the border. And one thing that I noticed, it's nice to have the border to denote where your puzzling area is, but as soon as I feel like I'm stuck and wasting time, no, move on to something else. So I'm absolutely shocked that the one I thought would be my slowest is my second fastest. And I do think it's a combination of technique, style, and just practice. I wish I had more time to do speed puzzling, but I also do a lot of other puzzles. And I enjoy doing other puzzles, not just speed puzzling. But I'm really actually quite pleased with that. So I was so excited with how well I did in the Lions in the Savannah that I decided to do one more speed run. I have here another 8 Ravensburger 500-piece jigsaw puzzles that I've only done as pairs. Some with Jeanette, some with Allison, some are Allison's puzzles, some are mine, but none of these I have sped run on my own. Well, I was so motivated by my time on the Lions, I decided to do one more. Now, I chose New York Postcard because I do think of these 8 other jigsaw puzzles, this will be my fastest time. You'll see these done in another video soon. And I'll do the same thing. I'll try to rank them to see if I can gauge which one would be slower or faster. Now, I do realize overall this is a pretty easy jigsaw puzzle when it comes to speed puzzling. Many people have gotten their best times on it. They love the, what's the other one? The London Postcard, and soon to be out is the Paris Postcard. So I thought, okay, I'm going to do the full flip method. I'm going to have my box in the position I like. I'm going to denote my puzzling area. I'm going to just pull out the border pieces. I'm going to try the border. If I get stuck, move on to something else. Now, what's really interesting is that I've done this puzzle with Jeanette. I've done this puzzle with Allison, but I've always done the same side. And so when I came to puzzle this area, I really was like, ooh, I actually don't know what it looks like here. So for example, when I come to do this jigsaw puzzle that I've done with Allison, she did all the flowers. I'm going to find that difficult because I have not actually done the flowers on this jigsaw puzzle. So let's watch the time lapse. Leave your comments below. How well or not so well do you think I did on New York Postcard with the full flip method? I was so motivated by the Lions that I tackled New York Postcard, and I was so pleased with my full flip method, how I had the pieces organized, grabbed out the border, and I did just slightly grab out those dark purple pieces because they stood out so very clearly to me. This border is a nice border with a lot of distinctions going on, so it was easy to put together. And then I just looked at those piles of pieces and thought, what stands out at me? You know, oh, there's the stamp. Okay, fine. There's the dark purple. Okay, fine. What you're going to notice is that I do quite well on the right side of the jigsaw puzzle because that's the side I've built twice before. But that left side, I really wasn't all that familiar with. I did grab out the pieces and you can see them kind of piled there in the puzzling area because I knew they went over there. There's some writing and some dots, but I really had to grab more pieces before I could fit them all in. Whereas I felt on the right side, I could almost pick and place where pieces went, even if I didn't connect them all. At the top of the puzzling area, I did move out some of the white and black, gray pieces, because I knew that was for the Statue of Liberty. I did try to build some in and to kind of make the outline, but I do leave that to the end. And I will admit, I dropped so many pieces on the floor with this jigsaw puzzle. I don't know why. The faster I went, the more the pieces went flying everywhere. It was a lot of fun though. I understand why so many people do so well on this jigsaw puzzle. I was so pleased. So in the end, I thought, okay, I think I've done really well. That was a good full flip. I have my layout, my technique down, but overall, 59 minutes and 2 seconds. This is my first Ravensburger in under an hour, and I was over the moon with joy. I have finally done a 500-piece Ravensburger jigsaw puzzle in under an hour. This is only my second puzzle ever, 500 pieces in under an hour, but my first Ravensburger brand. And I'm not gonna lie, I was over the moon happy. I know many people have done this in like the 30-minute mark and they're amazing. For me, I was just so proud because I feel like I'm really doing well with the full flip method. I'm going to attempt it on all these jigsaw puzzles, the ones that I've done as pairs. I do think when it's one of those super busy images though, that my pick and place, I don't know. Should I try to reduce some of those puzzles, like for example, the Disney Family jigsaw puzzle? Or, I did this vintage cookbook jigsaw puzzle. Allison has it. And I did basically a pick and place, build as I sort. There were very few pieces I had to sort. I placed most of them right away. And I have good times on both of them, but just over the hour mark. And I guess those two would be a good test to do to see if I take one of those busy images that I love and I try to do a full flip instead. Now, of course, I've already done both of those puzzles before, but it's been a while, so well, the Disney family, I will admit, I kind of remember the layout of the puzzle, but maybe the vintage cookbook would be a good one to try that on. So perhaps I'll try to get that back from Allison and do a full flip just to see how I do with a busy image with a full flip, or should I stick with my pick and place kind of method? So there you go. I can't believe it. I'm so pleased. I'll keep trying, and I know I'm the only one that puts pressure on me. I know I'm gonna have fun with my pairs and my teammates, and I know they just wanna have fun puzzling with me as well. And I will keep practicing. I'll keep trying to improve. And it's okay if at some point I hit a wall and that's where I'm at. I'm fine with that, because when it comes down to it, I really enjoy just going to these competitions and meeting everyone and having so much fun all together puzzling. So seriously, if you're thinking about going to a competition, try it out. Try an online one first even. They're so much fun. They're lots of fun. So Canada, first weekend in May, Spain in September. What else? I know Australia has tons of competitions. The US just had their big national event. There's lots of online speed puzzling competitions all over the world. I think if you love puzzles, just give it a go once. It's lots of fun. And if it's not for you, that's fine too. But you do get to try out all these cool and interesting jigsaw puzzles. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Oh, and thank you to Allison for helping me with my speed puzzling practice and lending me all these jigsaw puzzles. I'll get to work on the rest of these 7 jigsaw puzzles here. They'll appear in a future video. And until then, ciao! Psst. Are you still watching? Come close. Come close. Come close. I have a secret. I'm wearing a shirt underneath here. I got a sponsor for Worlds. I got their logo on my shirt. Someone is sponsoring me to go to Worlds. Do you know what that means to me? That a company would trust me to represent their brand at Worlds. Okay, no, not crying. I can't start crying. I'll tell you all the details in an upcoming video. And I will cry. Oh my God, I'm already crying. Okay, anyway. Yeah, right there, this shirt. I can't show you yet. I can't show, shh, it's a secret. Oh, I'm gonna cry. Okay, ciao for real.